that the original construction of the Hamilton County Sheriff's Department and jail was completed in 1993 with a total of 296 beds. This will be the first major housing expansion that we've had on this jail since then, so almost 25 years. The cost for phase one of this project is about $13.5 million, which will complete about 120 beds. Phase two of this project will be just under $4 million for 136 beds for a total of a 256 bed expansion. So pretty good size expansion that we're going to have here. I think that it's important to note that Hamilton County is not only one of the fastest growing counties in the state, but we're also one of the largest counties as well, with a population of over 316,000 in the population, and we're expected to double in size by the year 2050. Given the tremendous growth rate that we've had here in the county, I think that we've been very efficient with housing inmates, as you will see that this chart right over here indicates. This chart indicates similar counties of size and population, and it shows the number of jail beds that they have there. I think that the success that we have had is really attributed to the collaborative efforts that we have with our mayors and all of our towns that we have here, and that we work very well together to make Hamilton County one of the safest counties, not only in the state of Indiana, but also in the United States. Finally, the effect of House Bill 1006 has not only had a huge impact on Hamilton County, but also throughout all of our counties that we've had here in the state with the increase of inmates. I want to give credit to our Sheriff's Department, their staff, our prosecutors, our judges, probation, and also local officials that we have here in the county for managing this influx of inmates that we've had over the past few years. In addition, our staff and the designers that we've had have already been very creative in maximizing our space that we have available by renovating and conversion of the juvenile facility to put our women population in there, and they have to be segregated from our male population. So we have actually made every effort that we could possibly do to use every bit of this space that we have. So at this time, I'd like to welcome Sheriff Mark Bowen to share some comments that he has and some additional information about this project.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate it, and thanks everyone again for coming out today. It is a very excellent day for us here on the Sheriff's Complex to be able to see this finally come to fruition. It's been a work in progress for some time. When House Bill 1006 came into play and did have an impact on the local jails, we recognized that there would be potentially issues with those level D felons coming back, level 6 felons coming back to the Hamilton County Jail, and we started working with our commissioners and our council to address that concern. We've done a lot of things in the meantime with pretrial release and other evidence-based decision-making practices to try to mitigate that growth. But as Commissioner Harebrant said, we've done all that we can do with the campus and with the complex so far, turning the juvenile center over to a female housing unit to mitigate some of that congestion in the jail. But after 25 years, we've done all that we can do, and as the county continues to grow and expand and issues continue to rise, we've had no choice but to break ground on a new facility, and we're certainly grateful for the cooperation of the council and the commissioners and the other stakeholders in our community for helping us to get this off the ground. So it's not something that we want to have to do, obviously, and we do live in a very safe community, and we're very proud of that. But as the county does continue to grow and issues continue to rise, we need to be prepared for the future. And after a master plan, looking forward to the future for the next 25 years, this building has lasted us 25 years thanks to former Sheriff Dan Stevens and his vision, and allowed us the opportunity to add additional pods on. And that day has finally come here 25 years later, and it's time for us to plan for the next 25-year succession. So again, very grateful for the support. and look forward to the groundbreaking ceremony and getting this thing taken care of and opened up next year to help us relieve our problems here on the campus. So again, thank you very much, and I'd like now to turn it over to Commissioner Altman for a few comments.
Thank you. I'd like to take a moment to thank the design team that worked on not only this new facility coming in, but master planned our entire complex here. It's pretty clear when you look at communities, correction complexes aren't the most desirable locations to have, and we thank Noblesville for working with us. But we thought it was very, very important to maximize the footprint that we have on this complex, because the opportunity to expand or go to different locations very well may not be available to us in the future. But DLZ and RQAW worked very closely with us in the master planning and design, and I want to thank both of those designers, because what's unique about this new facility is the fact that we can open up the initial 120 beds with the same personnel as it takes to operate the entire 256 beds. So that is clearly a design coup in our eyes, because once the capital costs are easy. Maintaining the operations and the safety of both the inmates and our personnel is key. Also like to thank Hagerman Construction Management, who is the construction manager on this process. They worked brilliantly, quite honestly, to extend the build hold that we have for the additional beds. We are very, very hopeful that we will be able to build the entire facility in this process. It just is so important to the county that we build out the complete beddage. And then also we've got Dan Stevens. Bless you, Dan. You have been instrumental in keeping us all together. Steve Wood, who adds his expertise on a daily basis to keep us going in the right direction. Ralph Watson. I truly think one of the reasons we're not bursting at the seams is his wonderful community corrections program. He's known statewide. Sheriff, your staff has been instrumental. So at this point, I would suggest we go out there, don our hard hats, and start digging. Thanks. Steve?
This project is especially rewarding, I guess, for me, because when I became a commissioner in 1989, Dan Stevens was a sheriff, we were in this same position. Our jail was terribly overcrowded. Dan and I flew to Atlanta, Georgia, if you remember Dan, and visited several correction facilities, and that's where this pod concept came about. And we knew that one of these days, according to the pod concept, we would be able to add more pods on and facilitate the needs of incarceration here in Hamilton County. So to see this come to fruition this many years later, our plan worked, Dan. So I'm really, really pleased with that, and thank you all for coming.
You all want to go out here?
Well, it's nice and warm in here, but...
Otis Jones, my close and personal friend.
Hey, what's going on?
Excuse me. Thanks, sir. Get a cookie. Working with me.
Just your hard hat. Are we ready? President?
Yes, ready? All right, here we go.
Are we throwing at each other?
Just throw it right out. 1, 2, 3. Do it one more time. 1, 2, 3.
All right.
Thank you all. Let's get a shot of it. Yeah, let's all get a shot. Who wants to do that? Just stand like this on your shoulders.
Okay. Oh, okay.
actually does, I think.
Yeah, that's
She's already talked. She's already been talking.
Feels good?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.